So about 284 million people do suffer from anxiety worldwide. So everybody has experienced stress at one point or the other. However, a lot of people sometimes mistake stress for anxiety, and not many people actually know the difference between them. So the main difference is that stress is a response to a certain situation or threat, while anxiety is a reaction to stress. And while a lot of people regard stress as something negative, sometimes it can actually be positive. Because stress is what actually motivates us to finish those never-ending deadlines that we constantly seem to have. But if because of this stress you started to have insomnia and poor concentration, then this is a type of negative stress. Anxiety, however, is a mental disorder that can be triggered by stress. And unlike stress, it does not just disappear when the threat has been removed. So now that we kind of differentiated between stress and anxiety, let's talk about the signs and symptoms of stress, and then we will talk about the signs and symptoms of anxiety. The main stages of anxiety are headaches, feeling lightheaded, having poor concentration, fast heart rate, sleep disturbances, trouble swallowing, excessive worry, gastrointestinal problems, being forgetful, having low energy, feeling easily irritated or overwhelmed. So yeah, these are a lot of signs, but we need to also understand that a person doesn't have to have all of them so we can say that he or she is stressed. And it's also extremely important to point out that there are many emotional and physical disorders that are connected to stress, such as depression, anxiety, heart attack, strokes, obesity, and hypertension. So one of the first symptoms of anxiety is that they have difficulty controlling their worry. You will find them constantly worried about things that they really do need to worry about and about things that they do not need to worry about.
Spookables, oh dear, oh dearie dear.
And because of this worry, they will become extremely restless. And as a result of this, you will find them really easily fatigued. Another sign that people with anxiety disorder are known for is that they get really startled in a very exaggerated way. They will also have psychosomatic symptoms such as headache, stomach problems, dizziness, and the feelings of pins and needles in their arms and legs. They will also have physical symptoms such as shortness of breath, rapid heart rate, excessive sweating, and chest pain. And in order to be diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, these symptoms have to be persisting for at least 6 months. So after seeing all these signs, a lot of people are going to question what is really the main difference between anxiety and stress. So while the signs and symptoms between anxiety and stress are extremely similar, we also need to understand that, as we said, stress comes when there is a certain threat, and once that threat has gone, so will the stress. As for anxiety, it literally sometimes comes for no apparent reason. A person with anxiety will have more days feeling anxious than they don't. People with anxiety experience an impairment in their social, occupational, and other functions in their daily life. So about 284 million people do suffer from anxiety worldwide. And one of the best ways to deal with this disorder is to seek help from a professional. So what about the people who don't suffer from anxiety but they still suffer from stress? And what I would really like to say is that not because you don't suffer from a disorder, this does not mean that you should not take your situation any less seriously. And you should really find a lot of ways that will help you deal with your stress. And I will just show you a few ways that will help you cope with your stress. But something that you really need to know when you start your journey on learning how to cope with stress is that you will experience a lot of trial and error. Some coping strategies will really work for you, while other strategies will not. And that is extremely normal because we are not all alike. So one of the most well-known strategies are breathing exercises, and I've actually made an entire video dedicated to that, so I will link it in the description box if you want to learn some breathing exercises. A second strategy that has been said and heard a lot, but it's actually extremely important, is exercise. Because exercise generally does increase your dopamine levels and makes you feel much better. A third strategy is to start a journal where you basically write everything that stresses you out to let it out, and this journal will also help you identify the triggers that actually cause your stress. A fourth thing that I suggest for you to do is coloring. And yeah, I know it's cheesy and a lot of people say it, but also a lot of people who started coloring all these mandalas and the books for coloring for grown-ups actually do say that their stress decreases after they finish this activity. And a fifth thing is to open some of your favorite songs that are not depressing, that will actually make you more happy and soothe you. But if you feel like you've tried a lot of strategies and you are still stressed, or if you feel like stress negatively impacts you so much, then please go seek help. You don't have to have an anxiety disorder in order to go to therapy. Therapy can also help with your stress. And who knows, maybe what you consider to be stress is actually an anxiety, and you will not be able to determine that unless a professional tells you. Alright you guys, that was it for today's video, and I really hope that you liked it and benefited from it. And as always, I will be putting my sources in the description box, so if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Alright, bye!